Welcome to the Supplement Engineer Podcast. My name is Robert Chinetsky. Joining me for our weekly spot where we recap the week in supplements is Mr. Supplement Snoop himself, Justin Hall. Welcome back, my friend. How's it going?
Here we are, brother. It must be Thursday if you and I are together to talk about all the happenings of the week. So I was just going over. Sorry, I was going over Stacked as we were looking at it. Yeah, man. I know I messaged you the other day, and I was like, Robert, have you seen the front page of Stacked?
It was
today?
Horrible. I mean, it was
Monday
afternoon? Was it Monday afternoon or Tuesday that you texted me? And it was one after another. It was like functional food, energy drink, CBD, functional food, energy drink, CBD product. And it was a shit show unlike anything I have ever seen.
And Insane Labs.
Oh yeah, that was the cherry on top, was the fucking Insane Labs product.
Right. Yeah. So, but other than that, good, man. I know it's been, you're probably going through LSU withdrawal. That's the shit part, right? You go through all these great games and then by the time all these other bowl games are over with, people are sort of like, okay, college football is over with. And you're like, oh shit, here comes the championship game. You almost forget about it.
Right. And it's almost as bad. Luckily, I guess the one good thing of the football playoff is that there is a less of a time gap between the teams, the two championship teams' most recent meaningful game. So back when the BCS was around, they would have the conference championship games, and then they would have a 40-day layoff basically until the national championship game. This way, they had,
it's what, 13 days or some 10 days?
Yeah, they had 10 days between the semifinals and the conference championships, and then there's like another 13 between the Peach Bowl game and the national final game, which is going to be Monday night. So, it's itching. I cannot imagine my life as a sports analyst or just like a local sportscaster that is covering either LSU or Clemson. You've got 2 weeks to dissect every aspect of the game, and it at one point it is almost like analysis fatigue, where you're almost in like over analysis mode because there's nothing else you can break down. And so this is kind of where I've checked out. And since the Saints again screwed themselves out of the playoffs by playing shitty for the third straight freaking year. Last year we got screwed over by the refs, but this year and 2 years ago we've both lost to the Vikings, and it sucks. And so I've kind of checked out of NFL playoffs, so it's been a very dry week as far as sports goes for me.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I didn't, and that's kind of the tough part too, is once the NFL playoffs start, the college football focus sort of shifts, to the NFL games, and then NFL games are on Saturdays. So that's why it's like I keep forgetting that the Clemson LSU game, that's gonna be a good one. I'm ready for it. I think that was a matchup I wanted to see. I know some Ohio State fans think that they got robbed and think that they're still the better team, but yeah. I'm like, whatever, you lost. So
yeah, they had multiple opportunities to put the game away. I mean, they had their foot on Clemson's throat, and I think
they were dominating.
I think Ohio State lost that game more than Clemson came back and won it. I think it was Ohio State choking more.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, it's college, and Clemson knows how to win. They're a good team.
Yeah, they're the defending national champs, and they've won 29 games in a row or 30 games in a row like that. So it's time for us to put pretty boy Lawrence on his ass and kick his team's ass on Monday night. So it should be a good game. I have a feeling it's going to be a shootout, but I think we emerge victorious as we have all season long.
Yeah, I don't see Clemson as a really good team, but LSU has no weaknesses.
Nope, and we've got one of our senior linebackers back who kind of ducked out the day of, or like the night before the Alabama game. So Divinity will be back at the Mike linebacker position, and even if he doesn't play all 60, 80 snaps or whatever, if you can put him in at key positions at key times, then that can only benefit us. Is the way I look at it.
I dig it, man. Yeah, I think we're so we got NFL playoffs this weekend, and then the championship game's on Monday. Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I guess I better get my shit done over the next couple of days.
Exactly. So any new goodies land on your doorstep this week? Have you been running any new products or tested a few that you've maybe got at the end of last week and put through the paces a few more times?
Yes. So I got that whole shipment from Glaxon last week. And, the Glaxon people, they wanted some good feedback about some of their products. Like Flight is sort of like that peptide colostrum, and we don't know much about that. So they have their capsulation technology or whatever you want to call it that should help, the delivery system. And maybe that's why, we can't ever get any good evidence about this stuff. There's just a lot of factors. So it was funny because I've been taking flight for like 5 or 6 days now. And Ben was also taking flight. And then our other one friend, Nick, all part of the Supplement Snoop group, was taking it as well. And we said we were going to compare notes and just see how we felt. And we were going to pass it along to Glaxon and stuff like that. And the first thing we noticed, it was kind of funny, like an awkward conversation. I think Nick mentioned it to Ben or something. He was like, so can we talk about this Morningwood situation?
Now, is this Rage Nick or a different Nick?
This was Nick. No, not Rage Nick.
Okay.
Nick Price.
Gotcha.
And we were both like, yes. Like, wake up in the middle of the night, go in the bathroom is a tough challenge. And then I was like, okay, so it's not just me. So anyway, that's the first effect from flight that we've noticed. But there's like some interesting ingredients there. Like they have some pomegranate and some other stuff in there. So I've been testing out the whole Glaxon line that they sort of sent over. They sent it like the GDA and some other things. But then I also got something. I talk very highly of Alpha Line. Right? They make some really good formulas. They're good dudes over there. Really, really good people. Yeah. Jordan's actually doing something really, really big for the Australia thing. Jordan's from, he's Australian. But they did do something. They sent me a couple of new products, and I had to reach out to them. And I was like, you guys got to explain yourselves with this one. Not like a dick or anything. But so they sent me another flavor of Superhuman Supreme. And I was like, oh, and that was the other thing. I've been going like low-stim lately and having a blast, loving it. And then I got some more Superhuman Supreme. I was like, oh, shit. But so they gave me, it was cheated. They have 2 new products. One, I think we discussed them.
Last episode or 2 episodes ago, we just mentioned that they had 2 of them were coming to bb.com, but we didn't have the formulas as of that recording.
Right. So now that the formulas are here, so it's called Cheetah Burn. The thermo is straightforward. It's about what you would expect from them being a bodybuilding.com formula. It's got some GBB, it's got some stims. It's your normal, looks good, looks like a decent formula.
Yeah.
But then the nighttime one, it's called Cheetah Burn PM. It's honestly just a sleep aid. There's zero. So what I reached out to Jordan, I was like, where's the burn? Because it's Cheetah Burn PM, and he was like, well, Cheetah Burn is just the segment of their line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. But if you read the bottle and stuff like that, it insinuates a lot of fat loss things. So the only real way you can do that is if you make the correlation between a good night's sleep and losing weight.
Right.
There's also some KSM in it. So, maybe if stress is causing your weight gain and stuff like that. But I think people are under a little bit of a wrong perception that there's what I anticipated when I saw it was there was going to be, some stim-free considerations for fat loss and stuff like that, but there isn't any. It's just a straightforward. It look good, It's a nice little blend of there's some KSM and there's like some 5-HTP, some valerian root kind of thing, melatonin. So, just a little bit. I don't want to say misleading because that's not the type of people they are, but it's just a little. Yeah, it doesn't really fit. But that was the only gripe I had with that, and they explained. So I reached out to them just for a little bit of details, which is always good. It's always good when you can reach out to them and they'll tell you.
Right. You mentioned you were going low stim. What exactly qualifies as low stim for Supplement Snoop?
So what I noticed was last week, Glaxon sent me that GFY. It's supposed to be like the stronger version of Specimen.
Correct.
Well, you get into those bad habits where I was using like Superhuman Supreme and then I was using Specimen and I was really liking it. Yeah. But then like the last time I used Specimen, I was kind of like, you can just tell you're like, well, that didn't really, the effects. So I started using the Leica Pro Pump and Focus, which has got 125 caffeine in it. So I was using that for the last like 4 or 5 days, man. I love that thing.
Yeah.
Like the one day I did add a burn away to it, which is like another maybe 50 milligrams of caffeine, something like that. But that's lowest in me is the 150-ish range.
Right.
Kind of. But it's been nice. I was like, I was really enjoying myself. I'm like, man, who the hell am I?
Nice. Well, you know what else has 150 milligrams of caffeine per scoop?
I don't know.
The original C4. I mean, you could always use that if you'd like to.
No, I'm still waiting to see if they're gonna send us some Dynasty.
I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't hold your breath for that to happen. If you're looking for a low stim, you're better off going with like a scoop of orange brainwash as your pre-workout or something. That's got 150 migs.
I can't imagine the cellular core is going to send me anything if they ever seen anything I've ever said ever.
Yeah.
So. Oh well.
Well, you can see which people check in on your stories when you do stuff. Have they ever logged in to watch any of your talks or anything like that, or one of their reps, I guess?
I don't usually go through that, but I've never. It's hard to tell too, because sometimes then when you actually go into someone's bio, you're like, oh, I know that I have some cellular core people that follow me. I do know that, but yeah, they've never reached out to me, so there's probably a reason for that.
Gotcha. Awesome, man. Well, any new proteins cross your doorstep?
Did I get any new protein? I did get to try the new. So I ordered the outright bars, the new one, the peppermint cookies and cream.
Yeah,
pretty good. I like peppermint. I like cookies and cream. So I was like, and one of our friends from the Supplement Snoop group, Blair, she was raving about them, and I told her, I was like, I ordered them because I was like, you were the influencer here, like that put the peer pressure on me to get them. So I had one today, and if peppermint cookies and cream sounds good to you, you will like it.
Yeah. Is it very peanut butter forward, or whatever nut butter they're using forward, like most of the other outright bars are, to where it's a tangible taste and it kind of dominates everything?
You know what sucks about me is like I'm so bad with flavors because I don't take a bite of it and then stop and think and contemplate what I just sort of, I'm like Wolverine, just sort of like throw it in there.
Right.
I just know that I liked it.
Yeah.
So it's like I couldn't really describe it. I don't think so. Like I think it was really, there was a lot of cookies in it. A lot of like cookies and cream flavor. And then there was like a hint of peppermint sort of in there too. And it was really good.
Yeah. Well, MTS usually does, and Outright is an extension of MTS and Tiger Fitness and all that good stuff. They always have done a really good job with flavoring on their supplements, especially their protein stuff. So there was only one or two of the Outright bar flavors I wasn't really nuts about. And even then, it was good. It was just, it wasn't for me. The butterscotch bar, it tastes like butterscotch and it's super sweet. It was too sweet for me.
Yeah, I like the butterscotch one, but you're right. Like, I mean, I think that every time I've had one of their bars, it's been exactly as advertised. Like where you don't bite it and go, wow. Like if you didn't see the wrapper, I could probably tell you what it's supposed to be tasting like.
Yeah.
You know, I like the ones that they have that are more almond butter. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones I seem to like a little bit. But I think like the oatmeal almond butter, like chocolate chip or something, one that they just came out with not too long ago was really good.
Okay.
I like that one. But this one's good. I think people, if that sounds good to you, like I said, if the peppermint cookies and cream thing sounds good, I think people will love it.
Gotcha. I want to start experimenting with some my homemade Outright bars, my own riff on them soon. I've been combing through a few different homemade protein bar recipes, and I think I've got one or two that I'm going to try. So it's basically just those 4 ingredients. It's going to be some kind of liquid sweetener, protein powder, oats, and what's the other ingredient? Some peanut butter. So we're gonna run a couple of different batches this weekend, and we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why I just don't do Outright bars. It's nothing against the Outright bar. I think it is exactly, but it's too small. It's too many calories. It's too. I don't like to, because I already have protein shakes in my rotation just because I fast and I have a couple of meals out of it.
Yeah.
I just find when I have too many shakes and then too many functional foods at the same time, I just don't feel very good. Like, you're just not getting and it's an easy thing to do because we have so many options these days. I just don't think it's a really good idea. I think as a snack replacement, a sweet tooth, maybe, when you're having a moment of weakness or something like that,
Yeah.
is where these should really be used. And I think it's really easy to sort of rely on them too much. So that's why I try to save myself from myself, because they are good and it's an easy thing to do. But 270 calories for a little lump of protein bar, to me, for the price, I'm just like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, I find them to be a little bit overpriced. We'll put it that way. Especially when you consider you're only getting 15 grams of protein, you're getting a bunch of honey. I mean, there's not too much to them. So.
Well, and that's just the thing when we talk about, is it worth it to you, right? Like if it stops someone that's struggling with their weight and things like that from going and raiding the fridge and eating cake or having this and that, then it's worth it, 100%. But I think just for me personally, I don't see a need for it really, like, in my rotation. Mm-hmm. But they are good. They're good.
Yeah. All right, I'm scrolling through the front page of Stack 3D, and there's a smattering of stuff that's not really all
that. Thermogen on here.
That was probably getting slotted to the back page. Core Pro is being revamped for the new year. They actually released the profile from Core Nutritionals.
So that was interesting. I won't give it away, but they have their new pre-workout coming. Mm-hmm. They're doing a rebranding.
Yeah.
And they're re-releasing Core Fury, mm-hmm. the pre-workout.
Right.
They sent, Core, we have a good relationship with Core, and they sent me over the label. They were like, just keep it secret. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. It's there's actually some things that they do in it. It's nothing like, but you're going to look at it and go, huh, that's pretty cool. So
cool.
I'm looking forward to whenever that because I think they said they were going to send me a couple samples.
Sweet.
So hopefully by next week I'll be able to weigh in a little bit on that, because based on the label, I don't get excited about pre-workouts too much, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of, but it's just we start to see the same things and use the same things, and but this one I was like, I want to try that. Yeah. I'm excited to use that. So.
Cool.
Looking forward to them. Anyway.
Yeah, they usually do really solid formulas. I don't think I've ever tried any Core nutritional products. I've tried a few of the Miracle Lab stuff, but nothing Core specific. So, plus I need to try and get Doug in, or at least, Kenton or one of the guys from the team on the podcast, so we can delve into, the little mini empire they got brewing over there.
Yeah, he very quietly, with the Nutrition Corners thing, they've never been big into marketing. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people are just discovering the Core and the Core family, and they're going, holy shit, they are massive. Like, mm-hmm. They have, they don't have a huge team, doesn't seem like, over there, but they have like a really cool, when I've met them several times now, and just a good group of people. You can tell that the way Doug puts that, the brands that are sort of extensions of the CEO, mm-hmm. and his values, his core values, and the way his team around him is, it's just they're a really good team to be around, in my opinion. Like, they're just a good group of people with some killer products, and they're definitely one of the good guys, within the industry that I'm glad to see that now, as I think they're sort of established a little bit more, they're sort of marketing more, doing some cool things with the drinks and the snacks and stuff like that. So I think they're poised for a big 2020 for sure.
And just to close out before we move on to the next product, for the people wondering what the new protein label is going to be, it's going to be a 25 grams of protein, 2 grams of fat, 2 grams of carbs, and the protein sources will be 50% whey concentrate, and then 25% each of whey and milk isolate. And it's going to have a bunch of flavors for a launch, which
I bet those flavors are going to be badass.
Yeah. Death by Chocolate, which is Scream in my name. Frosted Vanilla Cupcake, Cookies and Cream, Chocolate Peanut Butter Cup, Fruity Cereal, and Maple Crunch Toast.
Maple Crunch Toast.
Yum. It's going to be good.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Like, I know because Arms Race, their protein, they use milk isolate. And then now So you've got, a 50% whey concentrate with these guys with the milk isolate. 2 grams of fat and 2 grams of carbs. Like, if it was 10 grams of fat and 10 grams of carbs, I'd probably still like. It's probably going to taste pretty damn good.
Yeah.
To be honest. So I'm looking forward to that because they're doing a rebrand. They're all new labels and stuff like that for their for all their products.
Mm-hmm. SNS has released 2 standalone supplements recently, and they're
Wait, so you skipped over the BCA candy product?
Yeah, that's I'm not going to waste my time on that.
It's Yummy Sports. I thought that they have kind of a good reputation over in the UK for having a really good protein.
Are they? I'm not familiar with them.
Gummy BCAA. Anyway, okay, so let's get to SNS.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? So you get 501 capsules of caffeine capsules. That's such a unique total number of capsules that you could fit into a tub. But I'm assuming it says it's a giant tub of 501 tablets. That's the original one. And now it's going to be in caps instead of tablets. That's going to be that's a fuckload of caffeine in one bottle.
The product is indeed a massive amount of caffeine that could last you almost a year and a half, or a little more than 35 weeks if you take 400 milligrams a day. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for, I think it's, there's been some, things that have happened, and there's been sort of a debate on whether you should have like bulk caffeine in any way, shape, or form. Could you accidentally ingest, but I think having caffeine on hand is probably a good idea. Rather than, I just think for a lot of people, you don't necessarily want to dive into all these stimulants and stuff like that, especially a lot of people know caffeine is a stimulant, but you're not aware of all these other stimulants or ingredients that are made to make the stimulant stronger and make them last longer and all sorts of stuff. So it's like, right. I like having just caffeine, and they didn't add theanine to it, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's just caffeine. It's just 200 mg of caffeine.
Good for them.
Yeah, I mean it's SNS. That's what I always associate with SNS the most, aside from the original Focus XT, is they always put together a lot of bulk ingredients at very, very well affordable prices. And I know some people are probably going to freak out because there's another bulk caffeine available on the market, and with Australia, I believe it was Australia, they're starting to put a limit on how much caffeine can be in energy drinks and pre-workouts and all of that stuff. I don't know if that's necessary, and I don't think that's a good thing for the industry in general.
No, because what are we going to do? We're going to put caffeine limits on like Starbucks and shit like that?
Yeah, or sodas at the drink fountain and all of that stuff, or how many refills you can get and stuff. I think that's shit. And I mean, I think I just sent it to you the other day, and I sent it to our buddy Gerhard over there, who's the second in command at Fitness Informant, saying that there's a new editorial or narrative review that just came out in the Nutrients Journal that's showing that in caffeine habituate, or people that are habitual caffeine consumers, up to 11 milligrams per kilogram per day is fine and shown to improve performance. Now, before we said that 3 to 9 milligrams per kg is safe and tolerable. Well, this is the first one to show that up to 11. And I'm not saying go from, if you're not taking any caffeine per day or you're only used to having 1 cup of coffee, immediately go and start taking 11 milligrams per kilogram of body weight in a single setting. I'm just saying you can do that and still be safe if you're habitually used to taking a lot of caffeine. This is why people can, take a scoop or a scoop and a half of Pollen's Hooligan and not die from coronary or something.
I wish when we started talking about stuff like this that we had adopted the metric system. So at 11 milligrams for
So how much do you weigh right now?
I'm like 200 pounds.
Okay.
So I'm looking at 1,100.
So that's you're 90 kg. So let's multiply that by 11. You could take a gram of caffeine and be okay.
And I can confirm this.
Yeah.
Because I've done it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. I just, man, well, let's not go down the caffeine rabbit hole. I just,
No,
and that's what they decided to safely try and study. It's not like they're trying to kill people. So
correct. Yeah.
2 grams is probably fine. 3 grams.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And the other supplement from SNS is a bulk D-aspartic acid powder. I'm surprised that still gets traction these days, to be honest, because there was that initial study that came out showing that, hey, in people that have low T levels, D-aspartic acid can boost them. But then they've had a couple of subsequent studies showing that it either gave no effect or led to adverse effects on testosterone levels and actually caused them to go down. So I'm still surprised. It's kind of like those things like green coffee bean extract and raspberry ketones. It seems like these are just a couple of ingredients that I'm surprised they're still floating around the supplement space.
well, you know what's interesting about this, and this is just speculation, but since a lot of ingredients started getting banned and there was all this other stuff, pro hormones have been selling a lot, just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And because I'm one of the people that talks about this, pro hormones, like an interesting place that I've heard good feedback and sort of makes sense is when people are coming off of a pro hormone cycle, they've been using D-aspartic acid as a way to sort of jumpstart their system, right? It's not a prolonged, long-term, like maybe effective strategy or something like that, but
almost like a PCT or something.
Yeah, in a PCT setting, people have been using this, seems like very effectively, and it's fairly cheap. So I don't know, you started to see some companies come out with more bulk ones, and the brands and companies and stuff listen to what a lot of people are out there talking about. Like, you have a lot of brands that follow us, and then you have retailers that talk about this stuff. Natural Body Inc. is a big proponent of D-aspartic acid in a post-cycle therapy kind of thing. And I don't know if maybe that's just what it is. If they're like, okay, D-aspartic acid sort of is a hot button topic suddenly, so let's release a product, and it's fairly cheap. I'm not a huge believer in it unless you are in some very extreme sort of low testosterone setting.
Yeah, or on a very aggressive supplement cycle. We'll put quote unquote, using those special sports supplements.
Right. So I don't know. I never messed around with any of that stuff, so I can't give firsthand info. But I've heard good things from people that I've recommended it to. That I know Tim, Natural Body Inc. is he pushes this big time. Yeah. To use D-aspartic acid in a post-cycle therapy.
Right, and obviously if a company's going to do it, and we've seen a couple of other companies release bulk DAA stuff, there's obviously a consumer demand for it, so companies aren't just going to release a supplement because they think, oh, well, we really like this ingredient, let's go ahead and launch it. Obviously, it's going to be driven by the consumer, so that's why we still see things like BCAA supplements. Everybody's releasing those because the consumers still have this notion that the BCAA supplement is going to be the thing that's going to spark muscle growth or do all these other things, which we've beaten to death 1,000 times over.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're a brand, why bother spending your time and resources to try to convince people to do? If they're dead set on this, then they're gonna buy it from someone. Yeah. So, I'm gonna go make one then. You know.
Yeah.
I know I talked to a few people as GDAs started to become popular, and I was really trying to find out more about what it is that makes them unique besides blood sugar control and stuff like that. And I was really trying to get to the bottom of it. And I had several company owners just flat out tell me, they're like, well, we're releasing one because everyone else has one.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. And that's not necessarily like good or bad, but there's just so many things that we can't prove. So they're sort of like, well, here's our offering because we don't want the business to go elsewhere. This is what people want.
Right.
They're trying it out, so you might as well try out mine instead of theirs. So
yeah.
But then people see everyone has a GDA and they go, oh, well, this must be the secret. This must be the secret product. And it's like, no.
Do you think the average consumer, I mean, you, me, and the people in the Supplement Snoop group and, the guys that frequent message boards and like the supplement sections of message boards, that's like the top like 1 to 5% of supplement consumers that have more advanced knowledge of supplements and understand the differences between brands. Do you think the average consumer, by and large, has any kind of brand loyalty, or are they just looking for like the best deal to where, if if a brand has that mindset of, oh well, I don't want to lose my business, so I'll come out with XYZ product because all the other brands have it, and they're trying to just say, well, hey, the consumer's going to buy to us, and they might think the consumer is always loyal to them. But do you think the average consumer actually is loyal to any specific brand, or are they just looking for the best deal always?
Brand loyalty. This is something we talk about a lot in our small business consulting program with small brands and stuff like that. They are sort of under the suppression that if we build it, they will come kind of thing.
Yeah.
This will kind of go into another topic that we've discussed about consumers and supplement consumers, like in general.
Mm-hmm.
There is no brand loyalty at all. Like very rarely, like I'll see some people that are really like Morphogen, for example. There's some people that are really, they'll just buy him.
Yeah.
Or maybe Ghost, I'm sure, has some people that
Mm-hmm.
they've unlocked a little bit of that brand loyalty, that lifestyle, because they were basically the first ones that did it.
Yeah.
And Blackstone with their Legion and stuff like that. So there's a little bit, but people want the best deal. And also what I've noticed, because I dealt with it too, but you'll see people, they constantly are asking, hey, when's your next product? Are you going to reformulate your pre-workout? When's the next drop? When is this? Are you going to make more apparel? Make this, make this, make this. But they don't buy it. The people just want the ability to buy whatever they want, whenever they want it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're going to go buy it. So you just see these companies, they're like in this arms race of shit because they want to provide every single option possible to the consumer who says they want it, but they don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
They just want the ability to buy it because now with Amazon and all this other stuff, we are so, everything is just sort of handed to us as consumers. So you see brands sort of trying to keep up with that, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work in the supplement space. I tell people that all the time. We talk to brand owners, they're like, well, people want a nootropic. I was like, no, 2 people said they wanted you to make a nootropic, and I guarantee that both of them don't buy it when you come up with it. So you're going to make a brand new product category and a product for 2 people that'll, if your product is too expensive or there's a deal on another company's, they're just going to go buy that. So it's just because I see this rush of, we want to make a product in every category, and we want apparel and shakers and pop sockets and this, and nobody buys that shit.
Yeah.
It's a good, if you want to give it for free, people like free stuff, so that I get.
Right.
But I'm like, man, the consumers are just have the brands just like puppets just dancing, man, and it's like this bizarre. I sort of get to sit there on the outside and sort of look, and I'm just like, holy shit, like this is crazy, especially because the consumers, there is no brand loyalty when it comes down to it. It'd be one thing if you were making all this stuff for these loyal customers that will ride or die with you, but the minute there's a BOGO somewhere else, man, they're gone. So,
and that leads to the shit show like we saw on Monday on Stack's front page, where it's just garbage product after garbage product after copycat after copycat after garbage.
Yep. Anyway, that's my rant
for
the day. At least that's the first one.
Good deal. All right, well, let's jump into the heavy hitter of this podcast. Morphogen's Thermogen just got released, and the ingredients panel is long and distinguished.
I did get to try this one. Did I tell you I got to try this one?
No, you did not.
Bastard.
How was it? Flavor, effects. Give us the whole spiel.
I don't remember the flavor. I want to say I got to try the finished product too. That it was the finished flavor. The flavor, it wasn't anything that like stood out, like good or bad. It was just I don't even remember what the flavor was, but it is exactly as advertised. He wanted to make a pre-cardio where it was very like mood uplifting, very quick acting, but then also it's not a pre-workout that's supposed to last 2 hours. You're very quick to go up, you're very quick to come back down, but it's not a jack you up, and it's not a slam you back down kind of thing. It's like, if I got to go get some cardio done and you also don't want to be all stimmed up and stuff. Like say you do it before work, say you do some AM cardio, get you motivated in the morning, get you feeling happy, go do your cardio, and then when you're done, like when you're done with that half hour, 45 minutes, whatever, that's it. You don't feel like those after effects. You don't feel weird or anything like that. So you can sort of get on about your day. And I mean, there's a lot of ingredients in here, but he sort of, I think it fits. It fits with, I'm not a big person with that whole, right, put in stims and then calming ingredients at the same time.
Right.
But in this, because he has like kavas in there.
And 200 of theanine.
Theanine, kava is a calming, at least for me, it's sort of a calming ingredient.
Yeah,
but
it is.
You can see there's, Garcinia, 1.667 grams of Garcinia. Like I had never seen some shit like that before in my life.
No, usually you see like 250 milligrams or 500 milligrams of it. That's brands pixie dusting it, trying to piggyback off of the popularity and the cachet that name and ingredient has, thanks to Dr. Oz.
Right. So you have yerba mate, 1.5 grams. That's
yeah.
You got a PA source. You got 400 milligrams of cocoa butyrol, 400 milligrams of caffeine citrate, which is 200 milligrams. I mean, zalphiohembine.
Yeah, it's 2.5 milligrams of that at 90%. So that's going to be what, 2 milligrams worth. I'm spitballing off of there.
So pretty aggressive formula.
Yeah, it's gonna. I'm surprised. The only thing I think I haven't seen in here is freaking paradoxine, as far as like a thermogenic ingredient. But they've got the GBB in there at 50 milligrams. And I know he's got paradoxine at a 200 milligram or 225 milligram dose in one of his other products.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's typical Morphogen. And I say this to people a lot. I'm like, I don't know whether you need, in order to do AM cardio, am I going to tell you need these 67 ingredients to go get the job done?
Right.
No. But with Morphogen, this is what he does. You can go and buy this product and you can spend your money and know you're getting the best effort possible from a formula standpoint, as in conjunction with the money like you're spending. Now, whether you need all this or not, I don't know. But you don't see formulas like this on the market. So if you want to try something that is unique and gives you a lot of bang for your buck, then I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's not a pre-workout, though. It's not a pre-workout to me. For some people, maybe it could be, but it's shorter lasting. Obviously, there's not a lot in there for performance. It's very focus, energy, and then, like I said, it's short. It was short-lived for me. It was like shorter acting, exactly like the way he described it.
Yeah, and the reason we don't see formulas is because you're going to be paying for it. It's over $2 a serving for this. If you're doing the full 2 scoops every time, it's $48 for that. And the other reason is that they do a lot of direct-to-consumer sales. I mean, if you're going to try and produce a formula like this and then get it into retail stores, it's going to cost the consumer $96, not $48, because they got to have a double price markup for distribution and the retailers and all of that stuff. So that's why they make high quality products, but you're paying for that high quality and those efficacious doses on all of the ingredients.
Yep. It is a unique brand. So I always encourage everyone to at least know that products like this are out there.
Yeah.
Ben is one of the most communicative. Like, he'll answer any question you ever have about his brand, so he'll answer it immediately. So it's just good that options like this are out there. Whether you need it or not, I don't know, but we appreciate it.
Certainly so. So, Naughty Boy.
You said they were going to send me some of that.
Menace pre-workout. I think we touched on this earlier, and now the thing is finally hit. Yeah, we broke down this formula a while ago.
Is that on the front page?
No, it's right after. It's on the next page after the Thermogen.
Yeah, because actually, that they just reached out to me today because they said they were going to send me some,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were like, "Well, they're like, hey, sorry, man, we were busy with this and that, yada yada, but we still have some on the way." And I was like, "Okay."
That works.
I don't like this what Stack is saying necessarily here though, because they're saying the first place you can purchase Naughty Boy's Menace, which comes with the likes of DMHA, citrulline, and caffeine. It's not DMHA, right? It's Juglans.
Well,
that
it's
they're
the
using.
Juglans and the Biophytum DC root too.
Yeah, and man, I know why Stack is saying it, and I not like have a problem with them saying it, but it's not that to me. I just have never seen where we can say yes, this is because there's no standardization for DMHA. There's no anything like that. It's just kind of a weird. I've used, I mean, everyone goes crazy about this. Like, it was I love Innova Farm. Everybody goes crazy like over in the UK about Innova Farm's MV Pre.
Yeah.
It has biophytum in there, which should be DMHA. It's not DMHA.
Yeah.
I've used it. And I know what DMHA is, and I don't think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially what is biophytum 15 is 150 milligrams. I don't know, man. So that's just DMHA and the Juglans, and I don't know. I would prefer not to see them just say, "Oh, it's DMHA," and it certainly isn't. If you see 200 milligrams of Juglans, it's not 200 milligrams of DMHA.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Who knows? It could be a half a milligram.
Right, because you're assuming if by them putting that, you're assuming it's 100% standardized to that one alkaloid, and it's not that. If it is, then they're not labeling it honestly, and they're trying to pull one over, or skirt some laws, which other brands have been known to do. I'm not saying Naughty Boy's doing it, but other brands have been known to do something like that.
Well, it's kind of odd anyway, because over in the UK, DMHA and everything's fine. Like, there's no... Yeah, agmatine, no, I think, but DMHA, yes.
Yeah, agmatine is a no-no in the UK.
But they can use, like, 2-amino isoheptane. So I wonder why they don't just do that.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
It is strange. Well, I don't think they can use... They can't use Urea gerensis either. They can use PEA, but they can't use Urea gerensis. Or the NN diphenethylethylamine. Dimethylphenethylamine. There you go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Strange.
Long story short, I'll get to try this hopefully at some point. So they seem like pretty good guys. They have a lot of good connections over in the UK, people that we know and we're familiar with, and so they seem to have a good operation behind them anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Awesome. My Obvi. I know you've talked about them and how delicious their collagen protein is before. And there was quite of a good little rant in the Supplement Snoop group about this new Kids Complete Protein formula that they got coming out with. And I know earlier we talked about, which brand was it? Was it Rule 1 that released a kids supplement? Or no, First Form. Something with a number 1 in it.
First Form, yeah.
And we said we liked the idea of it. The execution of the formula I wasn't super nuts about, just based on the forms of the minerals and vitamins that they had put in there. So what do you think of the Obvi one?
Well, one thing, and I want to make a comment about, so Stack, I think, did a post about this, and there was a good question from the kid over at Rise, the Rise CEO. He said, is this going to be third-party tested?
Yeah.
And my Obvi responded and said, yes, we will disclose this information. And the kid from Rise was like, that's awesome, because when it comes, we're talking about kids, you better, he wasn't like chastising him, but he was basically saying there better can be third-party tests if we're going to give this to our kids. Like, it's one thing. So I thought that was a really good point that he brought up.
Do you have an issue with one brand owner calling out another brand owner?
No, and that he definitely wasn't like calling him out. He was just asking. It was actually just a good dialogue. But no, I think. But then we've seen brand owners call each other out in the most juvenile, embarrassing ways possible. So now all of a sudden I'm rethinking my answer. Man, if they could just like that's a good example. Like he asks, hey, is this going to be third party tested? They say, yep, absolutely. He said, good, that's great, because this person, the Rise CEO, he has kids,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, cool, because I have kids and we need to know these things.
Yeah. Does Rise do third-party lab testing and publish them?
They don't publish them, no, because they've reached out to me a few times, and I remember recently he asked me, he goes, is Rise Supplement Snoop verified? And I was like, have you sent me your test?
Yeah.
No, then it's not. I was like, it's got nothing to do with my personal opinion about your brand.
Yeah.
They're a very hype brand. They have solid products, but when it comes to testing and stuff like that there's no marketing or anything there. You just show me your test, and it's verified. But they say they do them. I hear that we do them all the time from brands all over the place. But to me, the manufacturers have to test in compliance with the FDA and stuff like that. They have to run that, but that's not the same thing. So and when brands do third-party tests, what I gather is many times it's just one ingredient. The manufacturer will send it out and have one ingredient tested from their product. So, that's great, but most people don't share them either. And there are some third-party labs that won't allow their testing to be shared. Mm-hmm. I know that also. So it's kind of a shit show.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's where I would have the issue is that if one brand owner is going to ask another brand owner if they're going to third-party test their supplements, but you're not third-party testing or publishing the results of your own, I find that to be slightly hypocritical.
I could be wrong. Be wrong. They might. From the last time that I know, no, because I asked him, I said, send me your tests. And he said, all right, I'm on it, but never did. Yeah. So it could be out there. And maybe they just, forgot. I think Rise is pretty good quality, so I don't want to make them seem like they're not doing something. But you're right, man. It's like if you're going to say that, you should probably... if NutraBio came out and said that,
right? That's what I was just thinking. Okay. They know we know they're going to back up and walk the walk and talk the talk.
So I bet to the product itself, I mean, I think it's good, man. Especially, I mean, what people in their diets and what they feed their kids.
Yeah.
And just what a disaster. And I like that, we were having that conversation on the Supplement Snoop group about collagen and maybe cognitive benefits and things like that. So if, maybe if kids, I'm a big believer. I think there's some early research about giving kids whey protein when they're younger, getting them used to milk. There's maybe less milk allergies and things like that as they go further along. And then I think there's some promise of supplementing kids' diets that are usually pretty shitty. To begin with, if we can get them, started on the right path. I think there's just so much that happens in the developmental stage that gets so screwed up that you sort of spend the rest of your life trying to undo or hack your way around what happened, during that time frame.
Yeah, and one thing I would agree with, one of the points that they brought up in the Snoop discussion group was that, a lot of people are surprised that doctors and even parents still rely on Pediasure, which is not the greatest thing that you could be giving your kids. And somebody said, why do parents and doctors still recommend this? And I think by and large, there's just a lack of education on both the doctor's part and the parents' part that they don't understand what's good and what's not. I mean, just the amount of normal conversations and interactions I hear on like a daily and weekly basis, the average person is sorely misguided into what things are worth spending their money on, what things aren't. One of the guys that I was helping with a few things at the local bar I would go to work in the afternoons, that's now closed. Hey, bourbon is a great mental lubricant that helps me perform at my cognitive best sometimes when I have writer's block. So
somebody asked me about writer's block tips the other day, and I left out the old fashioned.
The old fashioned is wonderful. Or just any quality bourbon is good for loosening the stuck cogs of the mental processes. But because he was saying he was a very thin guy, but he would come up to me and he would say, well, what supplements can I take to lose stubborn belly fat? And I'm just thinking, is this guy watching like a V-Shreds or some other kind of, bullshit fitness review channel or something? And I just, the amount of information that is being blabbered out to the average public, they have no idea how to separate fact and fiction. And that's why I'm glad like people like you and me are out here trying to do this, because this is one of my primary motivators for being in the supplement industry is to say, hey, dude, you don't even need to worry about losing fat right now, because if you lose any more weight than what you already are, you're going to look like a skeleton with skin hanging off. You need to focus first on like eating enough protein and everything else, and then adding some muscle to your frame, because losing weight, and I mean, I made that mistake personally, that I was, squishy fat when I started working out, and I thought, well, I'm just going to starve myself and do a shit ton of exercise, doing a mix of like resistance training and cardio. And I ended up looking anemic and underfed and, had a gaunt-looking face. And I realized I completely shit the bed on how to do this, right? And so, when people come to me that they're in that similar situation, I want to save them from making that huge mistake I made with all of this. And so you got to focus on doing certain things right. Don't put the cart before the horse kind of thing.
We're just in a really dangerous time right now, too, because there is such pressure for people to produce content online.
Yeah.
And you have to, we're having yet another conversation about, the best, right?
Yeah.
And so companies always put out there, like, that's why I wanted to make us non-reliant on Google and search engine optimizing and stuff like that, because in order to compete, I would have to make a what's the best or top 5 or this and that, because those are where all the clicks and stuff go to.
Yeah.
So you have people that don't believe in it, but that do it anyway, because that's the only way you can compete sort of in this. And so we have, and I say it at least like once a week, I was like, we have so much information in front of us that we just, and basically, like what you were saying, I was at the gym yesterday, and I listened to these 2 older gentlemen. They were next to me, and the one guy has been losing some weight, doing really good. And he made a comment to me, and he's like, yeah, he goes, I've been eating beets. He's like, he's like, my blood pressure went down. He's like, and I feel really good. And I was like, that's awesome, man. Yeah. He didn't ask me for any advice. We just had a dialogue, and I was like, and I was like, good for you, man. I was like, keep it going. I'm not going to if you're doing well and you ate some beets and your blood pressure's down and you're losing weight, you're good.
Yeah.
If you get to a plateau and you want my advice on something, ask me. Maybe we could tweak this in here. Don't I fucking listen to this guy next to him, butt into the conversation, and for a good 20 minutes say one bullshit word after the next. And now I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, like, I didn't say anything. I was like, I'm out. But he started talking about how you have to eat, a meal every 3 hours to keep your metabolism going, and all this, and fruit. You can't eat fruit because of the sugar and blah 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 blah. So it's going on and on. So now you got this guy that just is doing his New Year's resolution. His blood pressure. All he did was start eating beets and working out.
Perfect.
Doing good. He's lost like 20 pounds. He says his blood pressure's down. And this dickhead over here, unsolicited, comes over and just throws a bunch of bullshit that you've read online into this guy's head. And it's like, that's like, I'm just sitting here listening. I was like, oh my God, shut up, dude. Like, every fucking word he said was a search engine optimized title from somebody's stupid ass article that is these broad generalizations. It doesn't have a damn bit of thing to do with anybody.
Right.
So it's like, I'm like, how the fuck do you know that you need to eat? I was like, if you want my opinion, I was like, I can, but I was like, I'm out. I said, I'm out. It's tough. It's tough to watch that.
Yeah.
Which is so much information out there, and everyone has to put their opinion out there because they need the traffic. Right. And then they just sort of move on with their business. And so now you have people that reading multiple sites, and you finish up and you're going, that's why people always ask me like on my questions. And I always just say, I'm like, so like, what do you think about this training program and this diet and this and that? I was like, try it out. Try it out. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. If you're going to ask me something like unsafe, then sure, I will try to not have you do it. But what do we like? We just paralyzed with information, and then you just confuse yourself.
Yeah. And it's bad enough that you got like the fitness influencers and all the Instagram models that are doing like best arm fat loss workout and all this shit. But the supplement companies too, the companies that are supposed to be trying to help people perform and live better, are also putting out all of these SEO bullshit articles like best BCAA supplement to burn fat and best ab flattening workout and best, fat burning supplement. And this is the problem with Google and SEO, search engine optimization, and all of that shit. It just, and as a writer, I have to do that every now and then, and nothing. That's why I'm working this year is going to be very, very much dedicated to building out the Supplement Engineer site and trying to make that, going to be the primary source of writing, where you don't have to twist words and fit into this niche. I don't give a shit about SEO. We'll make it a members site or something like that, to where we can make that, the honest source of information, make it examine.com, but more accessible and more relevant to people that are, the average layperson.
Yep. And it's funny. So just as a test, I typed in best pre-workout into Google.
Mm-hmm.
So the sponsored images that pop up right away, the first things you're going to see are Bucked Up, Woke as Fuck from Bucked Up,
yeah,
Post Gym, Cellucor C4 Sport, and Primeval Labs Ape Shit cuts. So, and then the next thing down is an ad from Transparent Labs about theirs. And then the first article that pops up is your complete guide to pre-workouts from Men's Health. So I'm going to click on this. So we obviously don't have to delve into the fact that, so just some random ass person comes onto Google and Google's best pre-workout, and maybe the first thing you see is Woke as Fuck from Bucked Up.
Right.
Like take personal things that I have against Bucked Up out of it. That product's like 400 milligrams of caffeine and all kinds of shit. It's like,
yeah,
is that's the best? You're just telling me that that's the best? Okay, cool, great. And there's a post-workout product that shows up under best pre-workout. So
yeah, and what a lot of people don't realize, the average consumer doesn't realize, is that a lot of the written content that you see on these fitness sites and blog sites and supplement company sites, they're outsourcing all of this writing to India. They're getting bottom dollar people, copywriters, that just find an article and reword it with their own vernacular and language. And if you actually read through and try to piece together what these things are actually saying, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So like the Men's Health article says, what's in my pre-workout and is it safe? It says, as pre-workout is designed to help you cruise through a particularly tough workout, it shouldn't be a surprise to learn that they supply your system with sugar, caffeine, and other energy-boosting stimulants.
So, right, you see a lot of things that are going to hit keywords. Did you scroll down and see what pre-workout ingredients should I look out for?
Yeah, I'm looking at this right now. Yeah.
So creatine, okay, but creatine is a popular search engine, optimized, like BCAAs, right, is next to taurine, B vitamins, NO2 boosters, examples, arginine, citrulline. And it says, which one should we avoid? 400 milligrams caffeine a day is the upper limit for adults.
Yeah, this is a very, very poorly written article by someone who obviously does not understand the science of supplements. And they also talk about arginine in here as a vasodilator. There have been numerous studies showing that arginine is shit for boosting blood levels of arginine, and even the doses that you have to take, 10 to 20 grams, you're going to get such massive cramping and GI distress that you'll end up shitting out everything before you even get to your workout, which is why citrulline is the better one to go with. Yeah,
it's just the audacity that this is gospel, that I'm going to write an article, and it's just, as I'm going down, Transparent Labs obviously puts a lot of stuff into Google.
Yeah, they do.
Top 10 pre-workouts according to LabDoor. I think LabDoor is pretty solid. But a lot of this stuff, right, it's ones that they've tested for purity and sport. So Do Vitamins, I really like those guys. They Legion's on there. So, but they don't have a lot of pre-workouts say that have been tested and stuff like that. It's a lot of like the really like general ones.
Yeah.
Top 50 best pre-workouts for 2020.
Ravereviews.org.
Yeah, let me see, because they have best overall pre-workout. Transparent Labs Bulk. Gorilla Mode. Okay, well, this is fucking fascinating. Okay, so the first one, Transparent Labs Bulk. So you have, I think it's a pretty they had, I want to say like they're pretty decent quality. I think they talk a lot about testing. Um, but Transparent Labs Bulk is a very, I would say cleanish formula. You know, you've got citrulline, and then number 2 is Gorilla Mode. Man, that thing is like it. Where we got Canna, which Canna you can't even sell on Amazon. I just found this out the other day. Canna is you're allowed to sell it on. I've seen it on Amazon, but Amazon considers it a drug, like clenbuterol and all this other stuff. It's on the list. I was shocked. But so your number 2 pre-workout. So someone wants to take this Gorilla Mode. Like I saw this Gorilla Mode pre-workout. It had DMHA in it the last time I saw.
Yeah.
When I saw this one, I was like, damn, that is a powerful. Look good. Don't get me wrong. But if you were just gonna roll up and start buying a man. And then the next one on the list is this power pre-workout for women. It's basically beetroot powder and these are nothing to do with each other. These are just like
it's a list that they've got either a stake, like they're getting commissions off clicks where these things are sending people to go get them, or they're backed by the companies or something, because this is just a shit show of a list. And then there's Optimum's Amino Energy on the list, EVL Engine. And Scivation Extend, which isn't even a fucking pre-workout.
Here's something fascinating. So if you look at Optimum Nutrition Amino Energy, it says value is 100%. How fucking annoying that is? Because there's this shit blend of you are getting so hosed on the price of that Optimum Nutrition Energy. Yeah. So value in and of the fact that the overall price to serving is cheaper than a lot. But you're still getting ripped off. They're still marking it up 17,000 fucking %. Right. Because it's just, holy cow.
Well, they can't even list the information right, because once the second to last sentence of the paragraph of Optimum's Amino Energy says 1 serving includes 5 grams of BCAAs and 100 milligrams of caffeine. Then it says, in the bullets list, it says quantity of caffeine, 200 milligrams. So which is it? I mean, I know what it is, but as a person who doesn't understand these ingredients, you're seeing diverging information.
I'm looking at the top pre-workouts for men. Number 2 is GAT, Nitroflex. Number 3 is Betancourt, Benox, Androrush. Oh boy! All right, I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
Yeah, best supplements.
Anyway, there's just a little. I know the people that listen to our podcast already know that it's crap, but that's just crap. Damn it, man! Why'd you make me do that?
I don't know.
I said one rant this week.
Oh well, we got on this topic of shittily written content and SEO, and that's a big pet peeve of mine. That's a goal of mine this year, is to get away from having to do any of it.
I don't mind, I get SEO, and for all the people that are in the marketing departments at your respective supplement companies, you make supplements, okay? You don't make fucking t-shirts and belts and handbags. You make products that go into people's bodies. That's where I draw the line at this algorithm to hack my way into getting a person to buy my product, because that product is subsequently going in that person's body. It's supposed to be there for some. They're trusting you, so that's where I go. You know what? That's where I get a little frustrated.
Yeah.
Because if I go on, and I was thinking about this today. I was actually having a conversation with someone. I was like, if I wanted to go buy a pressure washer to do the deck, I would probably Google what's the best power washer. Yeah. right. Or for the price. But I'm just going to go pressure wash, right? I get that. I get the desire to Google what's the best.
Yeah.
But this is going into our bodies. Like, why don't we treat it in the same way that we treat our food, or like where we're getting it from, or this and that? And it's like, why don't we think bigger when it comes to supplements? There's so much trust that is being put into people's hands that have not earned it.
Correct.
2020, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Yeah. You and
I don't
I
even
have
need
some
protein.
things working on in the background that the listeners don't know yet. I might announce it next week after you, me, and the third member of our tripod have one more call. We might announce it so we can get the wheels rolling on it. But that would be a big step towards not having to do SEO driven stuff anymore.
I agree, man. I agree. I just need people to start, because it's like once I explain this to someone, once I say it, and I see other people say there is no best,
Mm-hmm.
right? You see the light. They're like, well, that makes sense,
Right.
but I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
So I don't blame people. I mean, it's just the way it is. But we got to just think a little differently.
Yeah. Well, to put it on a happy note, I'm excited to see the Obvi Kids Complete Protein. We give our daughter some protein powder mixed into yogurt, so I'm glad to see that. We've emphasized the importance of protein, and she needs it, and we try to not give her any shit food because the snacks at the daycare are animal crackers and vanilla wafers. And I mean, I ate my fair share of shit growing up as a kid, Doritos and Pop-Tarts and all that stuff, but the knowledge of nutrition has advanced so far in the 20 to 30 years since we were kids that they could be giving them better snacks.
Well, you know what a lot of it is too, and a lot of it in the supplement industry and studies and things like that is all geared towards what do we do after the problem is already in place, right? So because to study preventative measures is pretty tough, right? So it's like, hey, if I start my kid taking collagen at 2 years old, 80 years from now, did it prevent them from seeing some sort of diseases, maybe some Alzheimer's, whatever it is. So I get it that it's, but the preventative care that we can do sooner for kids, especially as I'm all for it, man. I think this is a really good sign. I think the Obvi people are pretty good people. I like them. They have a niche right now that they're focused on, that they're putting a lot of effort into. This is going to be heavily scrutinized by people because now you're talking about kids. So people are going to probably take an extra look at it. And I think that that's good. I think that's how I felt. I think you and I discussed it when First Form came out with it. I said, regardless of the formula of this, and I was like, I like this because other brands are going to follow suit.
Right.
First Form is a very powerful brand within this space. And now you're talking about supplements for kids. Now, okay, is that going to drive more conversation about testing and what this stuff actually does? So I think this is a good thing. Because I think it is super beneficial long term for kids. The sooner we start them, off on the right path, man, because that's what we just do. We do as a country, as a society. We wait until there's a problem rather than trying to, shore it up to prevent it in the first place.
Yeah.
And sort of wait until it's too late, and then it gets really expensive.
Correct, man. All right, buddy. Well, we've been ranting and raving for about an hour. Let's end on a happy note. We'll find something good to talk about.
I did. Did I tell you I got the 2 new flavors of America?
No. Well, yeah. Last week you mentioned that.
Okay, I didn't know if I had actually tried it yet. I think maybe I got it the same day as a Glaxon
box of goodies.
So
that's what I will mention. Glaxon Sedative, and I saw in your stories that you mentioned it. That you said it knocked your ass out and did a fairly good job. I used it again last night. I've used it I think 3 total times now, and I've done a full scoop each time. I haven't tried a half scoop on it, but the full scoop. I'm usually somebody that wakes up an average of 2 to 3 times a night, either to go pee or I get hungry.
You're getting older,
I go eat something. I'll just wait because I haven't eaten enough during the day. I'll go up and eat some Greek yogurt or something like that, and then go back to bed. But that stuff, man, I took it again last night. I slept from midnight till 6:30 this morning. I'm usually up about 30 to 40 minutes before my alarm gets me up. But shit, man, I slept like a rock last night with it in there. It's the profile is solid, but it's sneaky strong based on the list of ingredients.
Especially for not having like phenibut or anything like that.
Right.
What I noticed, and I had a conversation with Michael from over there, that's part of our group. That was another thing. Did you see his, where he was, they're going to be using. We've always encouraged brands to use the Supplement Snoop group as sort of like a beta testing group, since it's a good group of people that really. So they said they have a caffeine sort of detox product that they're working on, and they're going to send it out to people within the group that want to try it out. And people were very quick to say, yes, please. Can you please help me with my caffeine problem?
I'm sure it's going to probably have stuff like ashwagandha and rhodiola in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to what we were talking about. So I reached out to him we were talking about Sedative. They are extremely interactive, and they've said to me from the beginning, their formulator over there is a very smart guy, but not in the sense that they're like, everything I do is fucking brilliant, and everything that, if you question me, because I question their formulas, I've questioned them from the beginning. I'm like, I have questions about this, and we have a dialogue about it, and they're also like, one of the reasons they said like they joined the Supplement Snoop group was because they want to be better,
right?
And that's what we're all about. This is what we're all for. So they've sent tons of free products over, and we appreciate that. And I've been taking sedatives, so I'll get back to my original point. I reached out to Michael, and he said that when he takes sedative, he seems to wake up at like 5 or 5:30 in the morning, almost like clockwork. But sleeps really good. There's no getting up.
Yeah.
I've been noticing the same thing, but me, see, he's got little kids. I don't.
Right. But you've got puppies. That's kind of like having little kids. I mean,
the good thing about our dog, if you let him stay in bed, we discovered this in one night. Like, we went out and we came back and we let him sleep in the bed with us. Yeah. He'll stay in bed for 2 days if you let him. So we're like, okay. So I noticed that I kind of the same thing. I'll fall asleep. I usually go to bed around midnight, 1 o'clock, like kind of like what you said. I'll wake up at usually. But my wife has been getting up at that hour time of day, so I sort of like wake up. But I've been consistently waking up like once, and then if I don't have anything going on, I can go back to sleep and I'm out.
Yeah,
that product is it's legit.
It is. It's sneaky strong for not having any phenibut in it, like you mentioned. It's good.
I know the flavor was a big point of contention. It's like it's got a really bad aftertaste to me. It's like grape. But you might have even got it. I think they changed. I think the flavor is different. Like someone was telling me this, like because you got it early.
Yeah.
The formula now or something might have changed, maybe between when you got it and when I got it. Like in the flavoring, I think is a little harsher.
You have grape. I'm trying to see what flavor I have. I think I have a different flavor. Maybe.
It tastes good. And then the aftertaste is not good.
See, I've actually never mixed it up and drank it. I just dry scoop. I just throw the whole scoop. No, I don't snort it. I put the whole scoop in. Let me go. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna go get my tub of it and see what the flavor is. Don't go anywhere.
I'll talk to the people.
Yes, entertain them.
Entertain them, he says. But yeah, I think it's called grape drink flavor, and the grape drink flavor is good, but then it's got a really weird aftertaste.
Okay, so there only is one flavor. It is grape drink. Yeah, it's this. Mine is the same profile that it's got on the website. I've always dry scooped it, and I've never had an issue with the flavor. I did like their I thought it was American-made, but I remember that is their stem-free pump product.
That's a Plasma,
yeah, which I've enjoyed that. I did not get any of their stem pre-workouts when they sent me the initial thing when Sam sent me over the box of it. So I'm gonna go and get some.
Yeah, that specimen. It was fun. I only tried the GFY once, but I could tell. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to give this a good, because it was still good. Like it was, but I'm like, you know what? It was at the tail end of using way too many stims, so that's what initially drove me to go back to like the pump and focus. And the crazy thing was, man, like it was really difficult. Just shows you like everybody sort of goes through it, but like it was really difficult for me to make myself go the low stim route once you get in that habit. And my first workout with the pump and focus was sort of like a little bit of a struggle, but I got a really good workout. But my subsequent workouts like were just killer with that thing. So
sweet.
I was almost sad. I'm like, man, do I really want to go back now? Like, it's just funny, man, how your body adapts and the routine. You know what I mean? Where you just get into this routine. And it's interesting.
All right, brother. Let's we'll close this one out on the good note that we just did, and have a good weekend. Thank you as always for doing this with me, man. It's a pleasure, an honor, privilege, and thoroughly enjoyable.
Let's one more time. Because I feel like every time we stop these, 5 minutes later we're like, fuck, did you see what just showed up on Stack?
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean?
You just had to do that. You just had
nothing's
to,
there.
Had to go there. Okay, good. All right, good.
All right, I think I have one more good rant in me, but I think I'll save it.
Okay. All right.
All right, brother.
And until next week, my friend, or at least until 10 minutes after this podcast ends when we're texting about something that happened.
100%. See you, bud.
All right, bye.